So previously in part 1 I delved into the world of laser cutting and laser welding with the X-Tool 1200 watt metal fab unit. I tested out the cutter and I tested out the welder and the results blew my mind. But in part 2 we're going to go deeper. It absolutely rips. Handmade right here in the UK in my shop. Welcome to NAWFABZ. So welcome back to part 2 of me testing the X-Tool laser welder. Now if you haven't watched part 1 already, I suggest you click the card at the top there. That will take you to part 1 of the series and this will make a lot more sense to you. So please, if you haven't watched part 1, click the card at the top, go and watch part 1 first. If you have watched part 1, welcome to part 2 of me testing the X-Tool Metal Fab 1200 watt laser welder, rust remover and laser cutter. So in the first series we did a little bit of basic testing, we ran a couple of welds, we did a few cuts, we did some rust removals, but it was only basic testing. Now in part 2 we're going to try and push this thing to the limits a little bit more and we're going to do a lot more real world testing and we're going to do some head-to-head stuff. We're going to do MIG versus TIG versus laser. Now what do I mean by that? We're going to get some pieces of plate, I'm going to MIG one of them, I'm going to TIG the other one and I'm going to laser weld the third one and we're going to strength test them, we're going to check the quality of them, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, we're going to basically test this a lot more in depth now on this part 2. So let's get stuck in. So in the previous episode we tested the small rust remover head, but we never actually tested the big one, and we are going to test it back to back for efficiency against a grinding cleaning wheel. But before we test that, let's see how effective it actually is on its own. Let's give it a whirl. Alright, so here's the big dog. Let's see what it'll do. Goggles on. Rusty plate. What will she do? Get my hand in trigger position. Nothing. What have I got set wrong there? I've got something set wrong. Unsure what, but I've got something set wrong. A wrong setting for sure, bear with me. Okay, so I figured it out. I was an eager beaver. I didn't read the instructions for the Max Tool cleaning, the Max Clean head. You do have to change the lens in the gun. So I've now changed the lens in the gun and I've just had a quick trigger pull and it worked. So, didn't go any further. I want to show you guys. Check this out. This is impressive. There's the plate. Watch this. Now that's impressive. And that is only on low power, so let's flick it up to high power. Let's try this again on 100% power. Oh god, yeah. Proper job. Oh yeah, I tell you, this machine is a nutter. Tell you, this machine is scary. Look at it go. Feel like a superhero. Laser man, go! If this thing doesn't scare the hell out of you, wow. Look at it. It's like a frickin' laser beam.
That is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
But does it clean rust? Yes, very well as well. Watch, my glass is going to fall. There we go. Just put that down and we'll have a proper look together. It's actually set my bench grinder on fire. But look at that. It got rid of the rust, literally down to bare metal really. That's on 100% power, straight down to bare metal, got rid of all the rust. So the rust remover is incredibly effective. So if you are wanting to clean rust, well, this is a machine for you. Incredibly effective, that is. And obviously with the 45mm head, it covers a lot of ground at once. It's, yeah, that's pretty mental actually. That is pretty mental. I feel like I want another go. I'm gonna have another go. Let's have another turn. That's pretty impressive, that is. Tell you, I'm like Dr. Evil with this. Sharks with freaking laser beams on their freaking heads. That is mental. Yep, my bench grinder's on fire. I'll put that out in a sec. Look at that. So here's how we're going to do this. I've got 6 pieces of plate here. Now these are all mild steel and they're all clean because we cleaned them with the rust remover and it made a lovely job of them, so they're all nice and clean. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a simple T-joint like that for 3 different weld techniques. One of them is going to be laser, one of them is going to be MIG welded, the other one's going to be TIG welded. Once I've welded them, we're going to see how long it took me to do each weld with each machine, so we can calculate time saving or time spent doing it. Then we're going to do a strength test, so we're going to try and snap the weld off. We're going to see if the laser weld or the TIG weld or the MIG weld is strongest. We're going to see if they're all around the same. We're going to measure that as well. So yeah, let's do the laser welder first. I've got it all rigged up here, ready to go. Let's do the laser welder first. Simple T-joint. First up then, let's go laser welder. Now we're going to get a few tacks on there. It's difficult to tack with laser, I'll tell you that. Although it has got a tack welding function, so I probably should use that. There we go. Tacked on. Right, let's go for full weld. Right, I've no idea how long that took, but it was fast. That were really fast. That will be 3 times as fast as TIG, I almost guarantee you. And the weld quality of that looks pretty damn nice to me. Pretty damn nice. Whether the strength will be the same or not, well, that's a different question, but the weld on that, absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. And you can see we have got penetration because it's poking through bottom side slightly, so we have got good penetration on that. So shall we weld? Shall I do the other? Yeah, I will. I'll do the other 2 weld first so we can compare weld quality at least. But so far, the laser has set the bar really high with that. Absolutely stunning weld. Yeah. Next up then, MIG welder. This will not look pretty, I guarantee you that. Okay, next up, it's the MIG. The messy MIG. Let's see how we can get on with this. Okay. Tack together. Let's weld her. start the timer. Oh, that was the MIG one. That seemed to take forever compared to the laser one. So that's that one done. We'll have a quick look at that. That'll be red hot. That's one thing I noticed about the laser. Once I'd welded that with a laser, wasn't really that hot. That I can guarantee you will take your fingertips off if you touch that, so we won't. There's the MIG. Still not bad looking, but it ain't pretty. Right, third and final then, the TIG welder. Okay, time for the trusty Artec TIG welder. Now, these machines are my babies. I've got 3 of these. I build exhaust daily for a living, and these machines get used every single day and very, very rarely give us any jip. So, this is my baby. Please don't let me down. And tack it up. Spin that tungsten round. Once I initiate the arc, we will start the timer. Now I am going to just run this on a pulse because I'm going to try not to warp this plate because I do want to compare plate warpage as well. So rather than going dab, 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 dab all the way down, I am just going to cheat a little bit and I am going to use pulse on this one. So let's see how it goes. Wow, that was long. That was so much longer than both MIG and laser welder. That just really puts into perspective just how fast that laser welder is. That was like, and we were down it quick. And I tell you what, I think it looks nicer. I think it looks nicer. I'm gonna cool that plate down, I'm gonna cool the others down, and we're gonna have a close look at all of these welds together, and we're gonna see which one looks best, we're gonna see which one's the strongest, and we'll also put the times on the screen of how long each one took. So then of all 3 of the welds what we just did, first up we have the laser weld from X-Tool, second up we have the Artec MIG weld, and third we have the TIG weld from Artec. So off the bat, which one looks the best? I'm gonna have to go laser. I'm gonna have to go laser. It's just so crisp, it's so clean, the colouring is great. Now, do I think that one's got the best penetration? Probably not. Do I think that one's gonna fail first? I mean, I'd like to think so, but we're gonna test it, aren't we? The TIG weld has got much better penetration. We've got a lot of burn through underneath. The MIG weld, exactly the same. I've got a lot of burn through underneath the plate. Now with the laser weld, we haven't really got a lot of burn through, although we have in a few places, we've not got a lot of burn through, which again, could be down to me not having the settings right, but for a fair test now, let's try and break each one of these off and let's actually see how strong they are. But before we do that, let's have a look at warpage. Now it's very, very clear to me that there's one winner here for warpage as well. And I'll bring you in close to have a look again. You'll see there on the laser weld, we did get a little bit of warpage right at the very beginning where I first started the weld. Right here, look, you can see where the weld was hotter. Where it's gold there, look, there's absolutely zero warpage whatsoever. That thing will still sit flat on the desk. We did get a little bit there where I spoofed it a little bit, So yeah, a little bit of warpage with the laser welder. MIG welder, wow, lot of warpage, massive, 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 massive. Onto the TIG welder, how did we do with that? Not so great. We did get quite a lot of warpage with the TIG one as well. Substantially more than what we did with the laser welder. So yeah, all of them did sustain a little bit of weld warpage. Worst one definitely being the MIG welder, and then second up TIG welder, third up would be the laser welder. Now they do claim that the laser welder is 0 warpage on car body panels, so probably down to me. Probably had the welder settings a little bit too high, probably why we got a little bit of warpage. But either way, I'm impressed. Let's break them. So first up, let's go for the bend test on the MIG one. Now I must add that these was all only welded on one side, so this should be fairly weak, all of them, but we shall see. Let's clamp that in there good. Right, are we ready? Pulled it out the vise before it broke off. Yeah, we ain't gonna break that off of there. That's not gonna snap off of there. That's actually bending a plate before. Let's clamp that in there. Absolutely no chance of breaking that off of there. Absolutely 0 chance. We've folded that one 100%, 180 degrees, absolutely 0 chance. So MIG passes the strength test, no surprise. Let's try the TIG one next. Let's leave the best till last, eh? Let's try TIG. Can we snap the TIG one off? I'm gonna say no, but we'll see. We're gonna end up with the same scenario there. Absolutely no chance. Exactly the same scenario with the TIG setup, absolutely 0 splittage. That's welded on there good. So TIG passes the strength test. Is the laser going to pass the strength test? Let's find out. We'll do everything the same. We're going to end up with the same scenario as the other two. Bends the plate. Tell you what, it's on there good. Well folks, the laser also passes the strength test. Not even so much as a crack, a peel, no nothing. That is on there just as good as the other two. Okay, so good news for X-Tool. What's next? So I think we need to do 2 more back-to-back tests with this machine. I think we need to test the laser rust remover versus a conventional grinder with a cleaning wheel. We'll do 2 pieces of plate what I've got the same amount of rust on them, and we will test one with the conventional grinder, and we'll test the second with the laser removal tool. We'll compare the results and we will test the speed. I think I know who's going to win this one. But let's try it anyway. Let me find 2 pieces of mucky metal. Off camera, I just had a light bulb moment. I found some mucky plate, but it's all in big pieces. So why don't we do a bonus round? Why don't we do a plasma cutter versus laser cutter to cut the pieces of plate what I need? So for the moment, I've just rolled the wire feeder out of the way, as for now, it's going to be a battle of the cuts. It's going to be my old trusty R-Tech plasma cutter versus the X-Tool laser cutter. And here's what we're going to do. I have got some rusty plate on here. This is what, 6mm plate? Yeah, this is 6mm plate. And we're gonna see which one's gonna cut it the best. We're gonna cut one with the plasma, we're gonna cut one with the laser, and then also, because this plate is really rusty and really minging, bonus test is gonna be, we're gonna test the X-Tool laser remover versus a conventional wheel, and we're gonna see which one cleans the rust off better. But first, we need to cut two perfectly nice rectangles, so we've got two fair comparisons. So first up, it's Team Plasma Cutter. Let's do this, Plasma. Okay, so I won't lie, Plasma Cutter made very, very light work of that, but the kerf is ginormous. You're not sure what a kerf is, that is the thickness of the cut, so check it out. That is the thickness of the cut on a Plasma Cutter. Now I left the last little bit on purpose there, just so I could just show you the thickness of the cut. So I will remove that, and I will break that end piece off. It's rather warm. And there we can examine the cut quality. And I tell you what, for a Plasma Cutter, that's pretty nice. That is pretty nice. So, next up, let's see if Mr. X-Tool can beat it. So, I'm assuming you saw that the bench was well on fire there for a second. The laser was going straight through the plate, and absolutely, well, I'll show you in a sec, it's about cut a hole in the bench. I tell you, this thing is no joke. It's like, it's like a freaking lightsaber. It's just literally nearly cut my bench in half. But, hell of a lot slower than the Plasma Cutter, but check out the quality. The kerf is like the thickness of a human hair. Check it out, hang on. There's your difference between a laser and a Plasma Cutter. See, the kerf on the Plasma Cutter was massive. On the laser cutter, the camera can't even see it. It can't even pick it up. It is the thickness of a human hair, if not smaller. So small. So that's the difference between a plasma and a laser. So let's break that off and have a look at the cut quality. So there was a few little bits in the middle that wasn't quite cut through, mainly because I'm noticing that the bench was on fire as I was doing it. I'll show you in a second. So the laser cut quality is definitely better than what the plasma is. There's the Plasma Cutter side. There's the laser cutter side. It's definitely slightly neater. You're still getting a tiny bit of, actually you're not. Look at the difference in dross. So there's the dross on the plasma cutter side. There's the dross on the laser cutter side. You've definitely got almost 90% less dross on the back side. You've got a 90% smaller kerf, so much more accuracy. So is it worth trading off the time for a bit of accuracy? I mean, that's going to depend on you and what job you are doing, but for me, I'd prefer a little bit of accuracy over time. But that doesn't mean that the plasma cutter is now retired. That's not the case. There will still be some jobs where you just want a quick, rough cut. Plasma cutter will do that for you. So in terms of cutting some 6mm, might even be more than 6mm this, you know, I'm not actually sure. It looks around 6mm, it might even be 8mm. In fact, I think it is 8mm, you know. I think it is 8mm this. So there we did a test back-to-back, plasma versus laser. Pretty clear, laser wins. It were always going to win. Plasma can't compete with laser in terms of cut quality. But we're not done here. We've got one more test to do, and that is going to be to test the rust cleanup feature. Now we're going to test the rust cleanup feature versus a traditional flat disc wheel. We're going to test the time it takes versus the quality outcome we get. Basically, what we are testing is, can this machine save you money? Can it make you work faster and more efficiently and save you money and give you a better outcome? Don't know. I just hurt my finger. And when I tell you that the laser cutter is no joke, it literally is like a freaking lightsaber. It almost cut an hole through the bench. It is not a toy to be messed with, folks. Okay, so I've re-rigged up the rust removal tool from episode 1. Now, my two bits of plate, one has actually ended up bigger than the other. But because I'm so confident that this is going to do this so quick and so efficiently, we're going to give the grinder a head start. We're going to use the bigger piece for the laser, and we're going to use the smaller piece for the grinder. So what's the aim of the game here? The aim of the game is we're going to clean both pieces. I'm going to clean this piece with the grinder, and I'm going to clean the other piece with the welder. We're going to measure the time it takes. As we know in business, time is money. Something that you can get done quicker, gives you more time to do other jobs, thus giving you more money. Number 1 plate, the smaller plate, we're going to hit it with this grinder with a brand new rust removal wheel on there. We're going to see what the finish comes out like, and we're also going to measure the time it takes. As we know in business, folks, time is money. If you can get a tool what can save you money, faster, efficient jobs means better profits. So that's the aim of the game. First up, let's clean this one with the grinder. Are we ready? Stopwatch. 3, 2, 1, go. Not bad. Pretty quick. Not bad at all. Oh, those particles in air killing me. Not bad. I didn't think that were too long. I mean, I weren't exactly counting, but I didn't think that were too long. Finish is pretty good, although it's not very uniform. I'm guessing that don't really matter. Next up then, big dog. I'm gonna put this one on the floor, and you're gonna see why, because the laser's absolutely brutal and it just melts everything in its path. It is literally a lightsaber. So we're gonna put it on the floor for this one. Right, are we ready then, folks? In 3, in 2, in 1, go. Well, there's no doubt about it that it were faster. What about the finish? Let's get the other one. That's a tricky one, folks. That's a tricky one. Because to me, that one looks like it probably came up a bit cleaner than what that one did. It's warm, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I don't think the laser got all the deep etched rust off, but then again, neither did it on that one, really. This one just came up shinier. That one, kind of a duller finish. I don't know. You guys be the decider of that one. Tell you what, look here, though. Look on this stainless plate where we're overlapping it and it was etching the plate. Should we have a little play on that? Should we see what it does on that? Let me get my goggles on. Let's see what it does on the plate, just for jokes. You ready? Pretty good. Should we go over the one that we did with the grinder, see what it comes out like? Not much in it, to be honest, folks. Not much in it. Did it get the rust off? Absolutely. Absolutely, it got the rust off. Make of that what you will, folks. So, if you are still watching this series, I'm guessing by now you're really interested in this X-Tool machine. So, if you want to see me continuing testing it even further, click this box. Right here is going to be part 3 to the X-Tool series. Click it right now. It's available right now. Get it clicked and consider clicking subscribe while you're at it. If you're enjoying this series anyway, we'll see you in part 3.